Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Dark Side of the Word. My name is Kate, and I'm here with my co-host CJ.
Hey, everybody.
And with a new format, pretty much the first Thursday of the month is going to be more about catching up with what's going on in our life, writing updates, how we're doing as artists in this world. And so my first question to CJ is, how you doing?
I am doing good. Thank you for asking. I am excited for our first writing update podcast. How are you doing?
I'm in the pits of despair, but
Well, that seems about fitting for how you and I play off one another. So, would you like to elaborate on your pit of despair? She said cheerily.
Are you saying when you're high, I'm low, and when I'm high, you're low?
I feel like I'm mostly high and you're mostly low, and then sometimes we interchange.
So I'm going to take that as a compliment saying I'm the emo one of the group.
Yes, you are emo. And I am decidedly not emo, as my cat headphones kind of indicate, I would think. And a lovely lilac purple, not an angry black.
Though I'm going to be sending you an emo bracelet in the near future.
That I'm going to wear to emo concerts. I'm very excited for that.
I am branding you. I hope you know that.
Yes. That is okay.
But let's not talk about me because I don't need to depress everyone. A little birdie told me you're back at work.
Oh, I thought you didn't want to depress everybody, but okay, I will talk about this. So yes, I am back to work full time in my 9 to 5 job. And this is the first time I have been working 9 to 5 since my back surgery back in March. So it's been 3 months that I was not working. And I'm not going to lie, surgery aside, it was friggin' glorious. And now that I am again working, I work in a desk job, I work in publishing. And so there's a lot of computer work and a lot of meetings and a lot of Zoom calls. So it is becoming very difficult to balance my creative life with my office life. And I'm struggling with that.
Has it only been 3 months? I feel like you haven't been working forever.
It feels like forever, but it also feels like it went by in no time at all, quite honestly. It's a bit of both. And like when I wasn't working, I was mostly recovering. And then toward the end, when I started feeling better, I was able to do a little bit more on the computer. I was able to, type up some blog posts. And when I finally got cleared to like bend over and like do things like that and, cook and lift heavy things, I was cooking some recipes for the blog. So I was doing a little bit of stuff, but now, and I had all the time I could do it in. So I could, cook something and then sit down for like another 10 minutes and then, write a blog post and then sit down for another 20 minutes. It wasn't this continuous, slog for 8 hours, which is what I'm finding myself in now. So by the time I am done for the day, I have no energy or time for a creative life. And I am very glad I am not revising or drafting a book right now because I don't think I could handle that.
I'm going to make a statement to blow your mind, but we've pretty much been doing the podcast the entire time we've been in recovery. Like, that's like the life of our podcast.
But that's easy because you know that you do all the work for this. All I have to do is read the book and talk, 2 things that I am very good at. So it was not a lot of stuff for me to do. But in terms of blogging, there's a lot of photography, there's a lot of typing, there's a lot of cooking, there's a lot of bending over, there's lifting heavy things, there's setup, there's cleanup. So doing that is difficult. Plus social media photos I have to take. So there's a lot of stuff there. And then writing, again, like I'm really glad that I'm not drafting, revising a new manuscript right now because I could not do that plus blogging, plus working. So I'm still trying to find a happy balance with all of that.
I was saying it more as like our baby doesn't know what it's like to have you working.
Oh,
like
okay.
the life of the podcast has existed only within recovery. Like it's like, but it's so weird.
It's what kept me going through recovery, as you should know.
I know you're like, oh, recovery was only 3 months, and I totally believe you. But this will be our technically 7, but like 6 month. Like we've done 6 books by the time this has come out,
which is awesome. Totally awesome.
After this one is released, we only need 2 more podcasts to break the 8 podcast
we're gonna do it. We're sailing on past. I may have time, I may have difficulties fitting in creative life versus 9 to 5 life, but I will always find time for the dark side of the word podcast. So
we gotta be here for our listeners. We gotta do this for them. They're coming to us. We have to provide. It is our sacred duty.
Yes, we shall provide. We shall provide. What else can I say about writing life? So it has been 2 months since I started querying Hoogly Ever After, which means that a good chunk of my initial queries have either been rejected or just not answered, which is generally what happens when you're querying literary agents, which is very frustrating because you put so much time and energy and effort into creating a lovely query letter just to have it go into the void. But whatever. Okay. So I have started sending out my next round of queries and just adding a few little tweaks to my query letter, namely bringing just a little bit more attention to the concept of hygge. I did have one agent who declined representation because she mentioned that she liked the book, but she didn't know how to market it. And I wondered if that meant that she doesn't actually know about hygge and that it actually gained some popularity in the US a few years ago. A book called The Little Book of Hygge came out. It was written by a Danish author and it actually became a New York Times bestseller. So it's definitely a concept that's in the US. A lot of people haven't heard of it, but there is a market there. So I've tweaked my query letter to kind of bring a nod to that. So it makes it easier for the agent to say, yes, this is marketable. Please send me your book and I will represent you.
Have you actually comped that hygge book?
I have. I said people who have embraced hygge after reading The Little Book of Hygge. New York Times bestseller, Little Book of Hygge. It is from 2017, so that's why I originally didn't comp it. It's also a nonfiction book, but I think it's helpful to have in there to explain hygge a little bit more, so they know it's a thing and not just something I'm making up.
You're bringing hygge to the fiction realm. Like, you are the gatekeeper.
I would agree. There are a few hygge books that are fiction from like 2017, again, when hygge was at its height, but they are UK books. They're not US books. There is no fiction hygge book right now. But again, I can be the mold breaker.
Hey, that could be your pitch in your opening paragraph, though, all about, like, this is a phenomenon that's taking the world over, and there are no U.S. books, and I would like to bring this awareness. Like, it's just, you need to word this. However you just said it, re-listen to this. However you just said it,
okay.
Like, repeat that.
That's a good idea, actually.
You're welcome. Okay. I'm full of them.
All right.
I can help everyone but myself.
Let's talk about yourself. What is your writing update life like?
Well, okay, I want to bring the question of query letters around really fast. Because querying is the shittiest shit show of hell.
Yes, it is.
It's like Hellbent, where you have a bag full of pens because only one of them works. Anyways, those are the things that hang around with me with these damn books. But I'm getting so annoyed. My husband got super uber, like, frustrated when he kept hearing what he thinks unbusinesslike quality of agents not responding to every query.
Yeah.
He was like, this is unprofessional, and how is this allowed to exist in the industry, and how dare they? And I agree, because it's just like, you kind of go, okay, did they actually ever see my email? Did it get to them? Have they looked at it? Am I just assuming a no, and it's just been in the void and never heard back from? I do like Query Tracker more, because I feel like you can, I don't know, there's something more to that. I'm also getting peeved with all, like, the people who finally do respond back to me, super annoying, is that, okay, I'm assuming if you responded back, you took the time to actually peruse my packet that I have sent you, okay? You have read at least the query letter. You have, hopefully, if you requested pages, read the 10 pages. I mean, come on. God damn it. They're only 10 pages, double-spaced, 12-point font. You can do it. So in doing this, you have formed an opinion, okay? You have formed an opinion that says that you don't want to do this book. Can you please repeat that opinion that you already took your energy to form in the email? Thank you. Because, just telling me, I don't think I'm the right fit for this book. Why the fuck are you not the right fit for this book? Is it because there are cats in it? Is it because I said the word shit? Like, can you just tell me? Because if every single agent tells me they don't like it because there's cats in it, then I know that there's a problem because there were cats. I'm sorry, I'm not attacking your cat, but the point is, like, can you just tell me, like, okay, if I see that there's a common thread of why you all don't like this book, this is like one opinion. I'm not looking for a bazillion. I'm looking for a 5-sentence line.
I don't like cats.
This is why you formed this opinion to begin with. It takes you 0.5 say whatever just to, like, put that down. Like, tell me, because then that will inform me in my future as trying to be agented. Like, how hard is this? You already did all the work. Just put it in the email.
I can see why agents don't give feedback, because they get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of queries a day. And I can see why they don't give feedback to every query. My issue is with that is when they request a partial or a full manuscript, and then they say, no, not for me, but they don't tell you why then. Because at that point, you're a little bit more emotionally invested. Like, they've given you a hint that there's like something there that could be attracting them. And then something clearly has put them off. So that is when, like, where I have not gotten back feedback on that, where I am expecting feedback on my submission of a full manuscript and not gotten anything. And I'm like, well, what the fuck didn't you like about it? Because, like you said, I need to know. If you don't like cats, just tell me and I will avoid other cat-hating agents or something like that. So I hear you. I hear you on the frustration. A little bit more conversation would be helpful.
You're talking about a new depth of hell in your scenario. Because that, again, in my opinion, by requesting whatever you're requesting, full, partial, whatever, you are essentially creating a kind of contract with the person, being like, I am divesting my time into further reviewing it. My payment to you is essentially a sentence or two as to why.
And that's it. All we need is a sentence or two. That's it. We're not asking for a full-on review or like a paragraph even. Just 1 to 2 sentences.
I mean, they require so much of us to literally bow down and kiss their feet. The least they could do, if you're going to take the time to, quote, email me back because, for some reason you decided to respond to me, put a little, work form in your email that you can just quickly fill in that section and hit send. It can still be a form email with a quick, you have to put my name in the email. 2 more seconds to write a few more words. Come on, people, because I'm not getting any feedback. I do not know why. Everyone is rejecting my book. I do not understand. I do not see what it is. I can make assumptions all day long. But assumptions...
Try tweaking your query letter. Because generally, if you send out queries and after 5 or 10, no one's biting, you're supposed to review the query letter and rework it. And then send that out 5 or 10.
Every time I review it, I love it. So I don't know how to change it.
But if you're the only one loving it, maybe
you didn't
needs
hate
to be looked at again. What'd you say?
You didn't hate it. Who else am I supposed to have checked this?
I'm not an agent. I'm not trying to sell this to editors.
This is sidebar.
I think it is helpful and a helpful tip to our listeners that if you are querying and you have 5 to 10, we'll say 10. We'll say 10 queries that have gone out and you've gotten no response or no request for follow-ups that you don't even know if they've made it to your 10 pages. You should consider looking at your query again, finding out where there may be holes in it, where you could tighten things up, change things to make it more appealing. And maybe there isn't anything you can do, but you should change something.
Okay, how much of your actual synopsis have you changed?
Synopsis I have not changed. The query...
Okay. I haven't changed my synopsis, but I mean, every time I query an agent, I change the opening paragraph. Except for the typical, my book is this many words and it's in this genre. Every time I query an agent, I find the minusculous, if I have to, gnat of information about them to personalize it to them. So literally, my query opening paragraph changes every author. Whether it's, prompting a title. Yes. But my synopsis, what do I don't know what to change.
That may be what to look at, though.
But it's sharp, it's crisp, it goes to the point, it gets the BIPOC information across, it gets all the stuff. Yes, I said it. I don't give a crap. It gets everything that needs to get across. It is to the point. It's catchy. I don't know where to change it. And then my ending paragraph, none of that's going to change. I run a podcast. I'm on Instagram at here. I did this. Hello, this is my name. My name won't change. I'm totally being a sarcastic bitch to you right now, but come on. Yes.
I mean, I feel like this just is a reminder that becoming a writer, a published author, is a job, just like anything else. And just like when we apply to jobs, we can apply to jobs and never hear back from prospective employers. We can go on interviews for jobs and never hear back. We could hear back from them and they just say, no, thank you, we've gone in another direction, which is so infuriating. And this is just another job. It's just another interview. And it's annoying as fuck, but that is part of the job, part of the process.
I think this is a great moment for us to put in our little plug here of being hey, if there are any people querying right now that are listeners, leave us a comment about what have you changed about your query letter. And if you tell me you rewrote your synopsis snippet, I don't want to hear it anyway. But tell us, divulge your information. Let us know what you are doing to deal with the multiple rejections. Let us know. This is the time to fill in our comment section.
Or if you got requests for submissions and then became an author with an agent, how did you do that? Share with us your query letter. Maybe we can learn something from that, because there's people who are doing it every day. I would like to know their secrets to life, because they must be good.
If I manifested anything for this podcast, it would honestly be that our comment section becomes like a forum for like writers and readers and stuff to be able to like chit chat with each other and get ideas and kind of be a safe space to help grow this.
Yeah. You need to have people who understand, that you can vent to, that you can commiserate with, that you can get advice from, you can bounce ideas off of. That is vital, because writing, as they say, everybody says it's a very solitary business, and you need people around you to keep you sane, because you will go quickly insane otherwise.
I mean, that's how we met, speed dating for writing
Exactly.
friends.
Exactly.
I love telling people that. And because, this is a janky-ass podcast done from, now $10 microphones, we're going to do I'd like to pause this podcast to let you know that we are both affiliates with bookshop.com. So if you're looking to buy your next purchase and would like to not only help independent bookstores, but also your favorite podcast hosts, make sure to visit both of our bookshop website pages online. Links will be in the description below. Now to continue. Okay.
Because I didn't want to interrupt your fantabulous impromptu spiel that you did, that I would have effed up 1,000,000 times if I tried to do that. But yes, that was hilarious. And yes, please support us. Thank you for the PSA. That was wonderful. That made my night.
I'm just trying here. I'm just trying. Whatever it takes.
Just trying to give the people what they want and give us a little bit of money on the side.
Whatever to keep living life as an artist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was also just me, like, kind of, what's the word people say? The phrase, like, putting off having to talk about myself. Just trying to delay the inevitable, okay? So, I am still in the Corey fucking trenches, which I was listening to another writing podcast. I'd like to shout out Inspired to Write, which their podcast is Inspired to Write. Oh, unpublished podcast. Wow. Their Instagram is Inspired to Write.
I could not help you because I do not know that. I mean, you've talked about it, but I don't follow it, so.
James has been querying for 2 years, and just now...
I just got physically nauseous.
Well, he just is now, as I understand, just now getting full requests after 2 years. So, okay, I'm just saying. So yeah, that's been great. I have only gotten rejections, and in the past month, I've only gotten 2 replies back. So, and they were both no's. Even the person with my same last name, who I thought for sure would take pity on me, because chances are, if you have my last name, you are somehow related to my husband. But no,
it's definitely a long shot. It's worth going for.
Familial contact does not help.
No.
But I am working on a current project, unlike Missy over there.
Yeah, slacking writer.
We'll forgive you. So I was starting to work on my next book, which is kind of like a dark monster, PTSD, very mental health oriented book, but I was just not getting anywhere, and it deals a lot with my own personal life, and I don't think I'm ready to go into that. And honestly, like, to be honest with everyone, I am in massive burnout, artistic burnout.
Yeah, I hear you.
I have been running this gambit for 5 years, and when, it's not like I need validation, but when you keep hitting some of the same walls and you're not seeing progress like other people, and it's just like, that really starts, like, finding energy to keep pulling yourself through the muck. It is difficult.
It is. I also have been doing this for 5 years, and when I first started writing my first novel and thinking, I'll finish this novel and I'll just send it to some agents, and then in a year or 2 I'll be a published author. I just laugh at myself and how absolutely naive I was. And if you had told me that 5 years later I'd still be doing this without, having a book deal or even an agent, I would have probably just quit then and there. But here we are. Here we are. Still doing
Exactly. Which is, so I wrote my first book a while ago. I'll get to that in a minute. But I wrote my first book a while ago, and I had a huge group of beta readers who read it a while ago. And one of them was a really good friend of mine. And out of the blue, like a month ago, she texted me, was like, hey, can you just like send me that book again? Because like I kind of want to like read it again. I'm like, what the fuck? It's horrible. Why do you just want to, for fun of your own free will, read this book? Why? So I sent it to her. And then she had to go into this long-ass rant on me after she was done telling me that I better get this thing published and she's ready for book 2 and how dare I take so long and I am ruining her life. Okay. I'm paraphrasing. So, I don't know. She sparked a tiny flame in me that was entirely missing, and I was like, okay. Well, if it's the only thing that's making me interested in doing anything, why don't I rewrite this book? Because in essence, the story is amazing, I think. It's very like debut writer crap.
Yeah.
Embarrassing. Like, I honestly queried this book to 10 agents, and then my gut went, oh bitch, no, this is not ready. This is disgusting. Don't put your name on this. Take it back. And I did. So I've decided to take my time, and I know I'm not creating new art, but I'm still creating art, and I decided to take my time and actually rewrite this book. Because I think the other part was, it wasn't even that I finally had a fire. For some weird reason, after all these years, the click of how to make this book work finally came to me. Because some aspects of the book to make the story work were kind of like antiquated into the world, and it's not that I'm trying to write for today's current climate of what's interesting, because it's just like you can't do that. By the time you get published, like the whole world can be different anyway. But it just felt old and stale in today's current climate of just writing in general. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel like original enough to it deals with the world building. It's not anything to do with the plot of the story. To me, it's the most original plot, story, characters, everything. Like, that's not the problem. It's just like the world building. So I finally got around that. But I wanted to tell everyone where this book started, and it doesn't give anything away. So this book is extremely sci-fi now. Very horror.
Horror.
And yes, very dark, very horror, nice, good romance aspects. So that's what the book is now. That's what I'll tell you about the book now. However, the original version of this book that started was a high fantasy book with a, what did I say? Wait, I wrote it down just to make sure. Yeah, it was a high fantasy book about a prophecy and a curse and magical jewelry that let you through things. And that was like the very first start of this book. And now we are here to a sci-fi horror book.
Yes. I, for one, like the progression, because I probably would not have touched your first version with a 10-foot pole. But you got some horror in there. I love me some horror, some romance, and sci-fi I'm starting to get into now, thanks mostly to you. So yeah, I am very excited to read the new revamped version. Not that I read the old version, but I'm excited to read the new revamped version.
You have it. I did send it to you.
I have it. I just did not read it because I'm a bad friend. I will just say it. I'm a bad friend.
Okay. I'm actually happy you didn't, because now that I'm working on it.
I was going to actually start reading it when I started querying the Huga books. I'm like, I have time now. And then you were like, I'm going to revise it. I'm like, well, maybe I won't then.
Unless you want to see the huge transformation, don't do it.
I feel like it would skew I want to have a fresh read on the new version, so I'm not comparing. Because you'll be comparing in your head. Your other readers might compare. I don't want to compare.
Also, I don't want the twists and plot twists, because there's a lot. Like, I don't want that to, I want that to be, like, a shocker when you read this one.
Okay, yeah. Then I will not read it. I will continue ignoring the document you sent me a year ago that is sitting in my email inbox that I've been staring at.
Well, and what I find is really funny about the book too is that, okay, I've read multiple books of yours now, and you have like a tendency to always do like a scene in a restaurant. Because I don't think that gives anything away, but like that's like your thing, okay? So I don't think that gives anything away about your book. Anything. It's just like you always like, okay. So my thing I'm noticing is that there's always food in the first shift. There's always some sort of meal, and because I'm like, working on chapter 1. So I've written the prologue, which chef kiss, like I'm giving myself chills. Like opening line of the prologue on the first chapter, like chef's kiss, like holy shit, like oh the parallels, oh.
Nice.
And then I'm writing this, and I'm like, there's food again. There's
nothing
another
wrong
meal.
with food. Nothing wrong with a meal.
But it's my thing.
That's
it's
okay.
becoming my thing.
It's better to have that be your thing than like shitty ass writing be someone's thing. So go with food. Go with food. If that is your thing, there are worse things that you can be doing.
Food and like running. So you'll see the parallels. They're
okay.
very different. Don't worry, they're extremely different. But I just noticed that like in Prices and Saving Goodbye, they're both like food and running. So I'm excited. I'm hoping to send you chapters by the end of the month. I don't know how many yet because I am like I am not just writing this book from scratch. This is not revision 1. This is revision 20. This is, yes, there are things changing that are kind of big, but like a lot of the story, when I get to certain parts, are going to be the same. I'm just going to like tweak the writing better because this is debut Kait that needs to like highbrow this shit. This is a very cleaned version. So it's going to take me a little longer, I think, because I'm really taking my time, like choosing words, choosing like...
Okay.
And then once you read it, I'm going to tell you some of the things that have changed, like where it changed from, because I'm curious why you think like how I went from there to, because there is like one major change in this book to make the world work that I think you're going to look at me and give me an eyebrow and be like, what the fuck?
Probably. You know me pretty well by now, so probably I will. But I will.
You know, like how we
surprised.
went from prophecies and curses and like magical jewelry to like horror, sci-fi. I'm not telling people what I changed it to for a reason.
Okay.
That needs to be secret, but I'll tell you.
Okay. I'm excited.
But yes, so that is, I think, where we are. That's where we are
that's pretty much it.
I think that was actually a pretty good update for everyone.
Yeah.
That's our month. That's been our month.
Yeah, and things can change so much in a month. So hopefully by next month we will have more exciting things to report, more updates, and yeah, I think it's a good plan. I think it's a good plan.
I feel like every time we get to this point in recording that we do, where it's like, oh God, I got to give my update for the month. I'm like, what am I going to say? And then I'm like, oh, I can say this and this and this, and I can blah, blah, blah. And I'm just kind of like, okay, I have stuff.
I have stuff.
But yeah, I think that's all I have. Anything else from you?
No, that's all I have as well. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. If you come back around the beginning of next month to get our writing updates now that we've broken everything apart. And don't forget, the last Thursday of the month, the podcast we release on the last Thursday of the month, is our book club podcast. So if you want to join in with the book club reading that we're doing, this month's read is going to be Strange Sally Diamond by Liz Nugent. And I still hope I'm saying her name right.
I believe you are.
Okay.
I believe you are.
So you have time to join us still, so grab your copy. And again, if you want to buy a copy, go to our affiliates links with bookshop.com.
Nice.
.org.
Nice.
.org, not .com.
Bookshop.org.
But anywho's, friends, make sure to please rate, review, and follow us on whatever platform you're listening on. It's like tipping your waiter, and it really helps out artists like us give you free content and to share our journey with all of you. So until next time, we hope that you all have a great artist journey yourself, and we'll see you next time. Bye, friends.
Bye.